We've got plenty of disappointing things to talk about today. Vikings, Gophers, Lynx. Let's start off on a happy note.
Okay.
You were in Las Vegas. What can you tell us legally on air without getting in trouble that happened in Sin City?
I was in Las Vegas.
That's a good start. Was there?
I lost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I'm not really good at sports betting, but I can. If I put those last 3 days under my belt, I could probably drink anyone under the table.
Nice.
Except
so that's
for like the 15 other guys I was with.
Anything else? Shows, food?
Went and saw Elton John. That was phenomenal. And no, I fell asleep or passed out at 6 p.m. the first night we got there and slept till 9 the next day.
So you're a good sleeper, good drinker, bad gambler.
All the above. So Vegas loves me because I'm a bad gambler.
Perfect. All right, we got a huge Halloween announcement coming up. You're going to hang on to the end of the show. But for now, let's start it off. We got Vikings coming up right here. Thanks for watching MeatSauce and Monty. You're back. Common Man was in your spot last week, and
I thought you'd Wally Pipp me.
Did I what?
Wally Pipp me. You'd replace me with him.
No.
Wally Pipp was like I don't know who he was, but he got replaced because he was injured.
Oh, yeah, it's the legendary story. Right.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. That's a stupid name. My name's Wally.
You're ripping the guy for his name.
Yeah, I get ripped for my name.
You have a great name.
It's Paul. Paul's a dumb name.
Saint Paul. Saint Paul Lambert. Yeah. And that didn't catch
Paul
on.
Tagliabue. It's a dumb name.
It's not a dumb name.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I like the name Paul. Vikings lose 21-10. I don't know what to say other than your thoughts. This was horrible in every single fashion. Offense, defense, especially. I don't want to say defense was that terrible.
No, the defense is actually pretty good.
Well, they held. They only technically they go up to 14 points. So defense, you could say, was okay, but the defense didn't get any sacks either. And they made Carson Wentz look bad, but they didn't really, 14 points in the NFL, if you hold a team to that, do you think you're going to get a win? Probably. But if you had to split between special teams, defense, and offense, defense was our best of the day. I'll give them that.
It's one of those games where you look at it and what I took out of it is it's like you're watching this game and it almost feels like when you were in college. Well, I didn't go to college.
Sure.
Or high school when you're like, well, I'll ace that test. Then you don't study, and then you get there, and you go, well, it's obviously 17. Then you look down, and in the multiple choice, 17 isn't an answer. You're going, oh, crap, I don't know any of this. That's what it looked like. They looked outmatched. The whole thing was absolutely hideous from the beginning. Sam Bradford looked like the Sam Bradford everybody warned us about when we traded for him. The offensive line is an absolute train wreck. Jake Long, there was a reason nobody picked him up until week 7.
Ooh, you're going to start picking on Jake Long.
Well, he got beat up bad. TJ Clemmings, and they shifted in all these other things, which is weird. They should stick to the 5 guys and go with them. And what happened to some of these, I know they want Kyle out on the, to catch the ball, but the offensive line.
Rudolph Pearson.
Yeah, Kyle out, but now they have to keep him back to block because the offensive line's so bad. Watching that game was one of those things where you look at it and you go, hey, they're 5-1. There's a lot of negatives to come out of that game, but they're a 5-1 football team. They go to a 1-6 Chicago Bears team next Monday, and then they get to host Detroit. Who always against the Vikings finds a way to lose. Detroit is snake bit when they play the Minnesota Vikings. So 2 weeks from now, they could be 7-1, and you wouldn't even care about that. But just like a couple of the guys said after the game, win or lose, you have to move on. Right. They have to move on from this. They'll look at the film tomorrow and they'll move past it. But if they can't get this offensive line thing situated, this could be a 7-9 ball club. The offensive line is so bad because the thing that I noticed in this game is the same thing we saw when the team was riding high and the Patriots came in and Belichick lined them up 5 wide and picked them apart. We've seen the same thing. Now there's a blueprint on how to beat the Vikings. Now, granted, your offense is going to have to be a little bit better than Philly's was today, but all you have to do is put pressure on Sam Bradford and he crumbles.
Well, the pressure.
We didn't see the Sam Bradford that we saw in the Green Bay game where he stood in the face of that pressure and threw passes. He crumbled a lot today. It wasn't good on Sam Bradford at all. But the offensive line is so bad. That could be the turning point of this whole thing.
Crazy question. I haven't heard this one asked yet. Is this the time where we miss Adrian Peterson? Because I got to say, as a fan, I would have said if he was there today, that 3rd and 1, that 4th and 1, he might be able to pound that through. We had zero running game, and even the blocking. Asiata got blown up a few times today. So when you talk about the pressure on Bradford, he didn't even have a pocket to step up into a few times because Asiata got blown up. It just, the pressure was there, but what I'm saying is the running game wasn't there either. And I know that depends on the O-line. I get that. But do you think that Adrian is so missed that he might have still been able to establish a facet of a run game in a situation like that?
Well, I don't know. He didn't. When he played in those first couple games, he didn't establish anything. He was just bad. He looked like an old running back. I don't know if Adrian Peterson helps. I just want to know what happened to, the quick step pass. The quick step pass that they had going.
The timing. That
with
was
Sam
perfect.
for so long. I don't know what happened to that. You watch this team and you're going, this was awful from beginning to end. And every time they had an opportunity, this is like some of these Leslie Frazier teams where they would just shoot themselves in the foot. They can't get 2 inches on 3rd and 2 inches. They muff that punt that looked awful. They can't score when Sendejo gets the ball down to the 2. They don't run it 3 times with Asiata to get him in that end zone. They get cute. They get the stupid false start penalty when they get it down to the 2s, and they got to start first and go from the 7 instead of at the 2. Everything went wrong. Now, maybe you get that out of your system and you move on, but you've got an absolute cupcake next week against Chicago. Chicago is one of the worst teams in football, and they may have to start Matt Barkley at quarterback because Hoyer had, was it elbow surgery or whatever?
Right.
They may have to start Matt Barkley at quarterback, and that's when the Packers took over. This will be a angry football team next Monday because Mike Zimmer will not let them play like they did again, and they don't like letting him down. So it might be a fun game next Monday, but this game was hideous. He just kind of moved past it.
Do you think, how much do you put on the bye week? I mean, I think that the bye week is kind of it's a lame excuse, but coming out, having a week off, the rust, they just seemed horrible. And like we said, in every facet, these were mistakes that Marcus Sherrill shouldn't have dropped that punt.
No, that's not a Marcus Sherrill's move, too. That was weird. He doesn't make mistakes like that.
Right.
So
That's what,
the bye week's overrated. I think the bye week's overrated. I think what they should do is every team should play, I don't know if this mathematically works, but I'm not here for my math. I think every team should play 2 Thursday games. So then you kind of get like a mini bye week.
Sure, give you a few extra
This
days
happened
off.
at the worst time. They had some momentum. They were going in the right direction. Then they get to go home. And some of the guys that I've talked to, and everybody always says this, and everyone that has played has said this, they go home and they hear about how great they are. And their moms tell them, their
5-0.
girlfriends tell
Yeah.
them, all their high school friends tell them, all those rookies go home, except for Laquan Treadwell, because I don't know what his friends
What
tell
he's
him.
doing.
Great guy, but ugh, he sucks at sports. But you go home and you hear about how great you are. And then you got to just come back and go, whoa, my mom said I was great, so I got to be great. Then you come back out and you lay that kind of egg. I think bye weeks are overrated.
All right.
And they come at the worst time, especially for the Vikings, because they were on a roll and then that happens and they just start over. We'll just kind of move on. Act like it never happened.
Going back to Laquan Treadwell, do you think that we miss somebody like him? Because if we ever get in the red zone, we don't have a receiver that's big enough bodied to throw that high fade. Today when we were, that 3rd and short, that 4th, we didn't have any receiver to split it out and try to throw high up in the end zone up in the corner.
Well, Charles Johnson has been an absolute disaster. I mean, now you saw why he was cut and on a practice squad with, was it Cleveland?
Cleveland, I
when
believe.
Norv Turner coached him. The thing with Laquan Treadwell is I don't really know what they got with him. We're going to be at the halfway point, and he's played 3 or 4 plays. He was a first-round pick. You can't pick guys in the first round and then have them not play. They have first-round picks 90% of the time, unless it's a quarterback, should contribute. They should always contribute. First-round picks, he's the 23rd best player in college football if you rank him that way. I don't know why he doesn't play more. Now, I think he's got a thumb injury, but you see Charles Johnson, I mean, he had to come back for that one pass, but that was why, Sam Bradford got hit. He had to come back for that.
Yeah.
That awful Stephon Diggs pass interference penalty they didn't call, it was all
So it's
a
ugly.
train wreck. It was just hideous.
And if you're not depressed now, we get to talk about the Gophers after this.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, we got to talk Gophers. Time for our first break.
It's
We'll
the
be right
worst
back.
run football team in Minnesota.
What's worse, the loss or the win?
The win.
Welcome back. The Gophers win homecoming, 34-32. But like I said going into the break, are you more depressed by the Vikings' loss or the Gophers' win?
The Vikings lost because I don't
Oh,
pay.
really?
Yeah, I don't pay much attention to the Gophers, and you can't. You can't pay much attention to them. They're a mediocre team in a really bad division. I mean, the game yesterday is one of those.
Get ready to get fired up.
The game yesterday is one of those games where, and it's all, hindsight's 2020. But I told my brother before that game started that if we'd been in Las Vegas this week, I would have put a bet, 2 bets. I would have put a bet on the money line. I would have picked Rutgers to win, and I also would have taken Rutgers in the points. The fact that the Minnesota Gophers needed a last-second field goal drive to beat that Rutgers team, who is you could put together
One of the worst in the NCAA.
one of the worst teams of all time. You could put together you could take that All-American freshman team, that All-American high school team that you see like around Thanksgiving that they play that game and those kids put those hats on and it's really cool experience for them. That team would beat Rutgers. And the Gophers come out and get a great lead and then they just whittle it away. They are an embarrassment to college football. You have to beat that team by 30. That team lost 78-0 to Michigan. Now, Michigan will probably be the third-ranked team, second-ranked team in the country tomorrow. But still, you almost lose to that team.
At home,
on homecoming, and that's why you schedule that team. Last year, they scheduled a team called Ohio. Not Ohio State, Ohio. And they won. You schedule Rutgers to win your homecoming, and you need a last-second field goal drive to beat them. If they had lost, I think Tracy Claeys would have been fired.
On the
He's
spot?
going to get
You think
fired.
he's gonna be gone?
Oh, of course. You can't have mediocrity. They're going to build. You're not going to build a $190 million athletic village. If for a bad football team. The reason you have those nice things is you have a good football program. And they could have a good football program. Not all of this is Tracy Claeys' fault, but he just so happens to be in a weird situation.
Sure.
The kids love him, but you have to move on. There has to be some able body you can find. That there'll be a lot of fired coaches this year. They're an embarrassment every time they get on the field. They're embarrassing to watch.
What do you think of Mitch Leidner or Connor Rhoda? Because here's my question. Leidner had a concussion last week, didn't talk to the media afterwards. They had no idea if he was healthy. It was a surprise that morning that he was getting the start. Connor Rhoda gets the win on the road in Maryland. Is it fifth-year senior? It's his homecoming. We got to give it to him. Leidner, I mean, his numbers, 11 of 18, 156 yards, 1 interception that was a pick six, and he ran one in. That is 156 yards is extremely underwhelming for a fifth-year senior against Rutgers. And that's why my question is, why him instead of Connor Rhoda? I get that it's his fifth-year senior homecoming. Give him the rest. Let him, was this to try to build up his confidence? Because if that was it, they completely blew it. Sure, 21-3, got out to a lead, almost lost the game. Less than 10 seconds left field goal to win the game for your homecoming and your fifth-year senior. You should have had Connor Rhoda in there. Healthy, build his confidence as your backup to take the throne once Leidner's gone and picked into the pros in whatever round he's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know really what they were doing. I mean, I don't know why. If Connor Rhoda were standing here, I wouldn't know who he was. I don't know who Connor Rhoda is. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're going to go to some crappy bowl game. And everybody that are the 5 Gopher fans that are left are going to be excited about it. Did you see that? You see that picture of like the stadium? It's homecoming.
Yeah.
Go to that game. Show some pride. If I was on a student budget and still could buy cheap student tickets,
you'd go to Ticket King.
I would go to Ticket King. I wouldn't waste my money on going to see that awful football program. They need. They're an 18.5-point favorite, and they need a field goal drive to win that game. They should have lost that football game.
Agreed.
And it would have been great if they would have. It would have been great. They deserve to lose that football game. They're terrible. Awful. And I'm not going to say they're nice people because I don't know them.
Sure.
They're terrible football
Just
team.
because they're college kids.
Yeah, screw them. They get a free education.
Enough that we're mad at the Gophers. The Lynx lose the WNBA Finals, Game 5 at home. Obviously, there was some officiating that was questionable, and Coach Cheryl Reeve afterwards seemed pretty hot. She kind of went after the officiating crew. First, what's your take on that, and do you think she's right?
I think she's 100% right, and I feel really bad for her because you watch that, and the lady still has the ball in her hand when she shoots it. And then the thing about that I love about Cheryl is, unlike my ridiculous rants, hers are like thought out, and she actually has time to think about it. But they got a call like that, I think, in like game 2 or something.
Game 4.
Well, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
They got a call like that.
Yep.
So she says that, and then she says, I'm not taking anything away from LA because who knows what would have happened. But as she said, and I loved it, you have to get the simple things right. You have to get shot clock violations. You have to get 10 seconds. You have to get the simple things right. And I've said this multiple times. I love Cheryl Reeve. I think Cheryl Reeve is one of the best coaches we have in this market, and she's one of the best coaches because she loves the WNBA and she loves that product. I'm proud that I work in the same market as Cheryl Reeve. I'm glad that she said that.
Those are very kind words.
I'm just a big fan. I love how she stands up for those women and how, people talk about it and they know that. They give away tickets to WNBA finals games. They know where they rank. But they're a great program.
It's a good product.
You don't hear about Lindsay Whalen getting a DWI. No. I mean, when was the last time, any of them got in any trouble? They don't get in any trouble. They're well-respected women in this community, and they got jobbed by that crappy call, and they all work too hard for that.
Here's what gets me, is people on the radio would say, well, that call is different than the call in Game 4. A missed call is a missed call. This changed the rest of the game because, don't just say, oh, it'll take 2 points away, we would have won the game, because that's not how it goes. The official was waving his hand like they were going to review it, but then the Lynx inbounded it, advanced the ball, Cheryl Reeve calls the timeout, thinking they're going to go back and review it.
Sure.
They never do.
Yeah, they
If
should.
they would have stopped the game and reviewed it there, you take away the points, we still have a timeout in our pocket.
Right.
It would have changed the last minute 14, and I'm not saying that one changed basket makes the Lynx win. What I'm saying is it changes the entire rest of that game. And I think that the Lynx, my wife, we were watching it, and she goes, they got over it. The Lynx are still playing. It was still a great finish.
Yeah.
It was a great finals. I think it's horrible that it's marred by that blown call, because then that makes everybody says, man, what a great series, just what a horrible ending.
And the other thing that sucks about it, and if it's men, they're still talking about it. Think if that happens to LeBron James. Think how ticked the four-letter
It'd be leading Sports Center.
They'd still be talking about it. They got robbed. It sucks. In my mind, they won. So
sure,
we'll just move on.
They're
But
still a dynasty.
You don't want to
Absolutely.
know what's going on in my mind.
I don't. I want to know what's in your mind about the Wild. They're hot. They had a 3-game win streak. They lost the overtime one in New Jersey. Your thoughts? Too early in the season to really digest anything?
Yeah, I watched them. My allergies are really bad. Sorry.
I was going to say you're really.
Man.
Quick answer, because we got to get to our drinking segment.
The Wild, I don't know. It's too early. It's
Too
way
early.
too early. Jason Zucker had a couple of great, breakaways, kind of messed him up. It's too early to tell.
Too early.
Yeah.
All right. Time for a break. Get your beverage ready. We're going to get some drinking going on. We got a theme tonight. What do you think it is?
What? Ernest Borgnine.
No. I avoided him this week.
What?
Somehow. So what holiday are we approaching?
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween. It took you.
I hate Halloween.
You hate Halloween?
I hate Halloween.
Oh, well then you're
Hate
going to
it.
love tonight's drinking game. Every single question is Halloween.
I literally is my least. My dad took me to the State Fair haunted house when I was 3 years old.
You must have been traumatized.
I haven't been in one since.
Oh.
I refuse. Even if Fallon was stuck in one, I'd be like, you gotta
You're on
find
your
somebody
own.
else to get to, because I'm not going in. I hate anything scary.
All right.
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
All right, well, this isn't scary
So if
stuff.
a clown comes through that door, you'll never see me again.
All right, this.
And I'll piss my pants on live TV. Can we say that?
You can say it.
Is
You said it.
Ryan or Bill? What's the
It's
guy's
good.
name?
It's
James?
Tom?
Yeah,
I think Tom?
Yeah, whatever.
That guy.
He hates me anyway.
He loves you.
ruin his TV shows.
This isn't about Halloween scary stuff. This is about Halloween candy. And I'm not going to say any jokes about your
I love
high
candy.
school years, but I imagine you had lots of candy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So there was a study that was done. They questioned over 40,000 Americans. What do you think is the favorite candy for the state of Minnesota?
Oh, crap. AJ
You went over
told me
this, didn't you?
You'd think it would be a Pearson's nut roll.
It should be if you want to stay local.
Snickers.
Nope.
Hershey.
No.
I have no idea.
100 grand.
Oh, God. Those
100
whale.
gram bars are
Those-
good.
Yeah, those whale.
They're super good. Staying along those same lines, that
Okay.
same study. Only 3 candies listed in the top 5 of every single state. Can you name 2 out of the 3 of the candies that were in the top 5 across the United States?
Snickers.
Not Snickers.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces is one.
Peanut Butter Cup.
Well, the peanut butter cup and Reese's Pieces, I can say.
Butterfinger.
Butterfinger.
You said 2.
You got 2 or 3, but you got one wrong in there.
Okay, fine.
So just take your medicine. You want to know the last one?
Yeah, of course. I like candy.
Kit Kat.
Yeah, those are all right.
They're just okay. You think they're top 5?
No. I like to eat them without breaking them off.
Just all 4?
Yeah, why not?
All at the same time?
Yeah, why not? How do you think I get to look like this?
How do you do
I don't eat it like Buzz from Home Alone. We're going to eat pizza.
What controversial piece of candy was number 1 in 5 states, was the most out of any candy? And this one is somewhat controversial because some people just hate it.
Black licorice.
No, not black licorice.
Well, what would be controversial?
Well, candy corn. Some people hate it.
Oh, candy corn's horrible. Now, if you mix
candy corn.
It's horrible. But if you mix
It's pure sugar.
If you mix it with peanuts, it's delicious.
Good job.
Because
Good enunciation.
it's like a Pearson's nut roll. Try that at home.
I like Pearson's nut rolls.
Mix candy corn and peanuts together and grab it in a handful, and it tastes like it's
Why
delicious.
do you have to say peanuts?
Because I might. Because I'll say something else.
You don't want to get in trouble. National Retail
But candy
Federation.
corn by itself,
Sure. Continue
I'd rather
with candy
eat
corn.
Godzilla's earwax. It's terrible.
Maybe it is Godzilla's
I'd rather
earwax.
like huff the Wicked Witch's shoes after she curls them up. Candy corn is awful. Awful. Ugh. Makes me sick to my stomach.
What
I'm
else
not
is it
kidding.
like?
I can't think of anything else. I'm going to throw up. I hate candy corn.
All right. Next question. National Retail Federation found 171 million Americans are going to spend money on Halloween this year. What do you think the average person out of that 171 million is going to spend? And I'll give you a good range here. We won't do prices right. You can be within 10 or 15 bucks.
$40.
Not even close.
100.
Lower.
90.
I'll get 82. $82.93 per person spent on
Really?
Halloween. Yeah.
That's a lot.
National Retail Federation.
$80?
What do you think our entire country is spending this year? I'll give you a little.
200 million.
No, I'll give you some. Listen, 2013 they spent $8 billion. 2015 $6.9 billion. What
Billion?
Do you think? Billion. Our entire country put together. So what do you
I bet
think?
it's more this year because there's more to make fun of. There'll be a lot of Harambe's, which stop doing that.
Stop with the Harambe.
Stop with the animal's dead. Move on. Let's move on.
$8.4 billion
That's
spent
so
on
much
Halloween.
money on
I know.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Can we just fast forward to Christmas?
You'd
or
skip right over Thanksgiving?
I hate Halloween.
I love
Oh.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving Wales, but Halloween's hideous.
All right, last question here. Costumes for adults 35 and older. The most popular thing, number 1 is witch, number 2 is pirate. What do you think number 3 is?
Donald Trump.
Oh, political figures. Very nice.
Thank you.
It's time for us to take a break. That Halloween show, we've got an announcement to make right after we get back from the break. I might have hinted what we might be doing next week.
Really?
Is there a hint in there? Last segment, we're talking all about Halloween. Next week, right here at the CW in St. Paul, we're having a Halloween show. Live studio audience.
What time will that be?
We're going to have guests in here.
Really?
7 o'clock next Sunday, we're going to tape the show. And if you follow us on Twitter, The Show, MeatSauce and Monty, Facebook or Twitter, you have to follow us, and you have to be in costume. We are going to be in costume next week.
We are?
We are, absolutely. You've got your assignment.
I just spent 10 minutes telling you how much I hate Halloween.
And
we're
now
gonna
you
be
have
in
to dress
costume.
up.
Do you listen to me?
So follow MeatSauce and Monty on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Say who you're going to be, and if you can show a picture, we're not asking you. Don't be dirty nurse. Don't be any of that stuff.
Don't yet do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't listen to him.
Todd says yes.
Send it
do
at
that.
MeatSauce1.
Okay, fine.
At MeatSauce1 if you don't.
More
and I'll
details,
share 'em
social
with
media.
Mythical Todd.
We'll see you next week. Mythical Todd.